again to accept the invitation to be here with us. It is a pleasure as usual to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hope you're doing great in this lovely evening of Friday. The weekend is ahead. Hope you are doing great. My name is Mansour. My last name is Mansouri. And tonight we are going to learn a little bit more about ourselves first and our communication skills, the communication skills that we need to improve in our life, to communicate better. I'm a communication specialist. I also teach English at USFQ in Quito, in Ecuador, and UIDE in Spanish, or UIDE. These two universities in Ecuador, the neighboring country. Now, in the chat box, please write, where are you from? Which city specifically? And what do you do if you like? Please, in the chat box, let's see where you guys are from and what you do. Are you a teacher? Are you a student? Are you a would-be teacher in the future? Probably, hopefully. Which city you are from? Where are you connecting? From where are you connecting to this webinar this evening? Hi, I'm from Lima, Peru. Thank you, Lydia. If you like, if you're comfortable, please mention also what you do. If you're a teacher, if you're a student, if you're a scholar, if you're a would-be teacher, probably in the future. Let's have others. Let's write in the chat box, everyone, where you are from where you are connecting and what you do. Just to have an idea to connect with each other a little bit more. In the chat box, Marcos says, I'm from Peru, Puerto Inca. I'm going to be an English teacher. Fantastic. Congratulations, Marcos. Good luck. You're going to be an amazing teacher. Let's have others. Where you are from which city you're connecting, and what you do. If you're a student, if you are a teacher, a would-be teacher, you want to be a teacher. If you're an engineer, if you are studying medicine, you want to be a doctor. Nancy says, I'm from Peru. Which city, Nancy, mention? Are you from Lima? Are you originally from other cities in Peru? If you like, also let me know about other cities in Peru. I would like to learn more about Peru. Miriam says, good evening, I'm from Lima. I'm an English teacher. Nice to meet you. Nice to have you here. Hopefully we can have an interactive webinar together tonight. Others, feel free to introduce yourselves. Once again, for the new members who are joining, my name is Mansour. My last name is Mansouri. I'm originally from Iran. We have probably met last year in December or November, if I'm right, Miss Claudia, right? It was December or maybe November last year.
I think that it was on November, my friend.
Right.
Last year.
We connected last year on November to talk about body language. This time we want to talk about social intelligence, what it is, and how it can help us as teachers to improve in our life. Saul says, I'm from Peru, Ica. Ica, I imagine, is a city in Peru. Good. Good to have you here, guys. Thank you. Thank you for your lovely responses. Now, let's start our webinar. Hope you guys are great. Welcome to this webinar. I'm going to start recording. Why do successful people tend to learn social intelligence, and what social intelligence is? Let's write in the chat box, everybody, what social intelligence is to you. What is social intelligence? Is it just communication? Is it just negotiation? Is it just the ability to talk to others? Is it just the ability to read minds? Let's have it in the chat box. Anyone, any word, phrase that comes to your mind about social intelligence? What is social intelligence to you? How can one be more socially intelligent? Is it just the words that we use, the phrases we use, the language we use, the hand gestures? What is social intelligence to you? Let's have it. Let's write it in the chat box. Let's write it in the chat box. What social intelligence is to you, even in the comments, in the chat box. Communication. Saul says social intelligence is communication. Fantastic. Good. Others, what is social intelligence to you? How can I be more socially intelligent? Hello, I'm from Huancavelica, Peru. Nice to have you here, Richard. Very nice. Janet says, it is a capacity to know people. Good. It is a capacity to know people. Interesting. Tanya says, tolerate differences, be able to understand others' ideas and opinions. Good, good, good point. Others, what about others? What is social intelligence to you? How does it look like? Is it the mere words that we use? We have some comments in the chat box. Let's have one or two more comments while we're at it. Social intelligence as a big picture, if we want to look at it, that we use, the gestures that we use. Helen says to get on well with people, to get on point, get on well with people. And hi, the topic of our webinar tonight is social intelligence. What is it? How can we develop it? Is it even important in our daily lives? And are we benefiting from it, or is it harming us? Now, people's brain process information in 3 different ways. We have another comment. I would like to read this comment. All right. Yeah. Claudia. Amazing. We have another comment in the chat box that we read. Now, people's brain work in 3 different ways. It processes information or auditory. I want to do a little bit of an exercise here. I would like to kindly ask anyone who can to turn on their cameras and keep your hand like this. Let's see these happy faces here. Let's have everyone's faces. Let's keep our hand like this. If you can, if it is possible, please kindly turn on your camera to see these happy faces. Really tricky. Okay, hi, these happy faces. Hi, Ramon, is it the correct way to pronounce your name? Ramon, maybe? All right, Janet, hi. The microphones are off. It's Claudia, if you can allow them to turn on their microphones, that will be really amazing. Hi, so I would like to keep your hand like this, and put it, and put it on your chin. Put it on your chin. Put it on your chin. Let's do it, Claudia. Let's do it, everybody. Put it on your chin. Where's your chin? Is your chin here or here? This is a good way to know who is a visual thinker or an auditory or kinesthetic. Thank you so much for turning on your beautiful cameras to see these happy auditory thinkers or communicators and kinesthetic thinkers or communicators. Who are they? And to which group do we belong? And is it okay? I'm back. Now, visual thinkers, who are they? 70 to 75% of thinkers, communicators in the world are visual. What does it mean? the way their brain processes the information is by pictures, images, most of the time. So how do we deal with them? And is it important to know if we are visual? Is it important to know if we are a visual thinker or communicator? How important is it in the results that we get in our lives? Visual thinkers tend to use visual verbs like imagine, see. I want to see more. I want to imagine the result with you. I would like to visualize an outcome of a specific result of a situation with you. So we call these, hi guys, we call these group of people visual thinkers or communicators. And why is it important to know if we are visual thinker or if we are confronted with a visual thinker or communicator or not? To be successfully in contact with it, know what verbs to use to communicate with them. Verbs like imagine, see, look. I want to look at the results. I want to take a look at what you're offering to me here. I want to see more of the results that you have here to suggest to me. In the meantime, guys, both in the live stream on Instagram and here on Zoom, if you have any questions specific or comments, please feel free to write them in the comments. Miss Claudia is going to read the comments for us or any specific question, something that needs to be addressed. Moving on. The second group, there's no line of demarcation. 20 to 25% of thinkers and communicators in the world are auditory, meaning their brain functions in an auditory way. They're hearing concepts in their brain when they want to communicate with us. Verbs like, I would like to listen to what you have to say about this offer. I would like to hear more about your life story. I would like to listen to the sound of nature when I go to the nature, and so forth. And the third group, the rare ones. Approximately 5% of communicators, thinkers, and the ones who are ready to hug you when they meet you. The first step. So they are the ones in the first step. They are the ones who stop touching you. So they have to make kind of a physical contact with you. It's very difficult for them. These are the people who suffer so much from being away from people. The social distancing is hurting them so much. So we call them kinesthetic, to be in touch with you. When they are learning something with you, they would like to get near to you. So they are the ones who lean toward the camera on Zoom class. They make us uncomfortable, especially to the visual group, because the visuals want to have that space. The visuals see your face, they want to see your shoes, your pads, they want to see everything. But the kinesthetic ones want to get close as possible to you. They want to reduce that space. Now, their body language, all the three groups, will tell you what their style is. Body language of the people will tell you what their style is. The visual group is a look, the group that is a looker. So they change their clothes often. They love accessories like watches, like rings, like necklace, like hats. So they change from time to time. The visuals. The auditory ones, They don't care so as much as they don't care to the appearance as much as the visuals. And the kinesthetic ones don't care about the appearance so much. What is important for them is physical contact. Now, we just need to know what to look for when we are confronted with a visual or auditory or kinesthetic learner. The next part, in the next section, we want to know to which group we belong. Now, there is a little bit of an exercise, even for the people who are watching on live stream. I would like to ask you to kindly close your eyes and think of a memory. Let's have these beautiful cameras on. Let's see these happy faces. Hi, I see more faces here. Hi, lovely to see you here. Let's close our eyes, and I would like to ask you to think of a memory. I want to do it with you too, even you, people on the live stream. Let's close our eyes and then let's think of a memory of our childhood. That memory. When you think of that memory, do you think of that? Does it look like a movie? Do you see pictures? Do you hear sounds? Do you want to feel? Do you your dominant thought, your dominant idea is what you want to feel or what you felt in that situation? Now, to be more specific, the ones who could not keep their eyes shut, like myself, are the ones who are visual. So they see movies, they see pictures in their brain most of the time. And the ones who heard voices in their head or heard sounds of the nature, the places they've been to, are the auditory ones. And the ones who felt the experience are the kinesthetic ones. Now, to move on and to see why it is important, we want to be linguistically mindful. What does it mean? The language that we use to communicate with everybody is extremely important. What language? The words that we use to communicate with everybody. Even in email, you're writing an email to your boss. Is your boss a visual thinker? I don't know. Give it a try. Ask your boss to do something. Pay attention to his or her appearance. Is your boss is an auditory thinker or learner? Pay attention to it. Now, we want to be linguistically mindful. The language that we use to communicate with other people is extremely important. The verbs that we use. So far, we have learned about the verbs that we can use to communicate with visual thinkers, visual learners. Visuals would love verbs like imagine, visualize, to your boss, to your colleague, to your students, to communicate better in a deeper level with them. With the auditory ones, change the verbs, change the verbs that you communicate with them, like see, change the verbs from see to hear. I want to hear more about you. I want to listen to what you have to say about this specific topic. And the kinesthetic ones we know. Let's be in touch. Now, the Pinocchio effect. What is the Pinocchio effect in communication, and why is it important to know and to learn about Pinocchio effect? Pinocchio effect is when you use more words or phrases or sentences to convey your language, to convey your message than necessary. Pinocchio effect is sometimes when we use more words to communicate with other people than it is necessary. Like you're trying to talk about a story or the reason why you couldn't show up in the class yesterday. So you come up with more words, more phrases. You use more sentences to say what you want to say. So it's more probable for a person to lie when they use more words. A person who is lying, they know they're lying. So words, more sentences to convey the same message. So we want to get away from redundancy and repetition, not to get into the Pinocchio effect trap. Next thing we want to discuss is mirroring. To be socially intelligent, we have to learn how to mirror. I would like to show you a video after I talk a little bit about mirroring. What is mirroring? Just take 1 to 3 words from what you hear in the conversation from the other person and mirror them. We want to watch a video. I would like to show you a video. I would like you to take some notes in the video and let's see what we can get from this video. All right, ready? Let's do it.
So mirroring, it's just a simple repetition of 1 to 3 words. Typically, it's the last 1 to 3 words of what somebody said. But when you get good at mirroring, you could pick 1 to 3 words from anywhere in the conversation. The other person feels listened to. It tends to connect their thoughts in their head.
It challenges your mind.
It challenges your mind?
Yeah.
Part of the message it sends to the other person is, I heard every word you said, word for word, and I'm proving it because I just repeated it back to you. But it's not enough. I still don't get it. And when people go on with a further explanation, they're going to add.
All right, we learned about mirroring. So we get 1 to 3 words from one conversation, from the conversation, and then we just repeat what we hear in the conversation to that person. That's it. I would like to ask Claudia if everybody here is kind of an acquaintance or classmate, because I would like to do a little bit of group activity with everyone to ask them to practice mirroring. Is it possible? Are we all friends here?
No, not all of them. Not all of them.
Not everybody? Not everybody. All right, we can practice. Can you please allow the participants to unmute themselves so that we can practice a little bit
Yes,
together?
they have the possibility.
All right, who would like to do that? We want to do a little bit of practice of mirroring. So I tell you something, pick 1 to 3 words from my conversation and try to mirror if possible. If you like, raise your hand, these little digital lovely hands here that you can raise. If you like, please raise your hand and let's see if we can practice that together. Anybody? Anybody would like to do that? It's so simple. I just tell you a sentence or 2. You pick 2 or 3 words and you tell them to me. And that's, we mirror the language. That's it. The exercise is super easy. Who would like to do that? If nobody raises their hand, I would have to.
Yes, Raymond want to participate.
Let's
Mr.
do
Raymond.
it. Awesome. I like that. So brave. Let's do it. Okay. So pay attention to my conversation. Pick 2 or 3 words and give them back to me like a question. All right?
Okay,
Good.
I'm ready.
Perfect. Let's do it. Yesterday, I was impressed by your presentation. I think you can improve.
You was impressed by my presentation?
Excellent. Let's give him a hand. Fantastic. Excellent. This is mirroring. So you pick 1 to 3 words in one conversation with a specific person, and you just give those words back to them. That's it. That's how you mirror a conversation, mirror somebody. And that's how you get closer to them. Now, it creates a kind of psychological comfort. You feel like, this person is really listening to me. Yes, I feel like I'm heard or I'm listened to. This is what mirroring is. Hopefully we can use it in our conversation in the future. So now, why do we use body language for? What do we use body language for? We use body language to assess needs and desires. There are needs in the society and desires to communicate in a deeper level. We use body language to assess these needs, to see where the need is, to see where the desire is, and to work on that desire. If they don't want me to, probably somebody doesn't want you to stand too close to them, the kinesthetic ones. Probably somebody doesn't want you to be so away from them. This distance can hurt them. The visual ones don't want you to be so close to them. So this is where body language comes to the surface. It becomes important. Who am I going to figure out? How am I going to figure out what body language, what gestures to use to create psychological comfort? And if people want or don't want to shake hands. Now, in most societies, vaccination now has started, and many people are vaccinated, many people are not. Still, there are people who are not vaccinated, there are people who are vaccinated. People who are vaccinated are more comfortable even shaking hands as the time moves forward. Now, the question for us is why body language comes to the surface, comes to the importance of learning. Now, to create psychological comfort. If someone wants to shake hands, this is a question I get most of the times. If someone, we have a comment, I think here. All right, no, it's clear. If someone wants to shake hands and they really want to do that. So how do I refuse to do this without causing offense? As we can see in this picture, we can use our elbow, first thing, without creating offense. And we can be direct and just say, I would rather just wave directly. We can also be mindful of different cultures. Different cultures have different manners of communication. There's a comment here, thanks. There's a comment here, greetings are cultural, we know that. South Korean culture in greeting, Japanese culture in greeting, Thai culture in greeting is different from South American culture, is different from European culture, is different from the American culture, is different from the Middle Eastern culture, where I come from. There's all types of different cultures in greetings. However, due to the situation, we want to be mindful and we want to be careful about shaking hands. Now, there was a question, after the pandemic is over, does everything go back to normal communication-wise? I mean, touching, handshaking and everything. The answer is yes, we did it. 1980, there was a huge pandemic in 1918, in 1918, and around 40 to 45 million people died. But after a while, everything went back to normal and people forgot all about it. So we have done it. We have done this historically. Now, how can I look more confident? Now, right now we are connected together on internet, Zoom, the Zoom world. At the beginning last year, it was like, oh my God, this guy on the other side of the computer is going to kind of do something to me. But now everything is normal. Everybody is more comfortable using the Zoom world to connect. We want to practice gaze behaviors. Gaze, what is gaze? G-A-Z-E, not a stare. There's a difference between gazing and staring. There's big difference between gazing and staring. We want to be really careful about that. Invite somebody to look at you, to communicate with you. On the other hand, staring can be intimidating. You can intimidate somebody. You can create psychological discomfort by staring at somebody. We know the difference between gaze and stare. Gaze is the positive one. When we look at somebody, when we create eye contact to invite them to talk to you, to come to you, to ask you questions. And staring on the other side is creating psychological discomfort, is when we are kind of inviting somebody into a fight or inviting somebody into a kind of uncomfortable situation, like I'm uncomfortable looking at you here or being with you here. Do not hesitate to make eye contact in an online setting. Creating mindful eye contact can help you so much in creating rapport. Making the time to have eye contact is extremely also very important in creating that psychological comfort. Now, pacifiers. What are pacifiers? Since we are born, we use pacifiers to pacify our brain. Our brain needs to be pacified. They are not optional. They are a requirement. Your brain needs to be pacified at times. Why? Because there are stressful situations. There are anxious situations when we want to avoid them. Now, the first thing that happens is our body reacts to it. So we start having different gestures on our body. For most body language specialists and body language enthusiasts, pacifiers happen here in this part of the body, on head. However, we use pacifiers all through our body. Probably we are bouncing our feet as a pacifying behavior. Our brain, remember, our brain requires this from us, and it's extremely important. Now, pacifying behaviors, what are they? And why do we need to pacify ourselves? From the time that we are born, the first thing that we learn to pacify ourselves is sucking our thumb, putting the thumb in the mouth and sucking it. This is a pacifying behavior that babies develop to pacify themselves. However, for a person at my age, probably your age too, that would be really strange to put your thumb into your mouth and suck it to pacify yourself. That would be really strange. So what do? We have substitutions. We use the pen or the pencil or anything else around us to put it in our mouth, or we bite our lips, or sometimes we don't see the lips. In politicians, it's very common when they are having debates. Sometimes when you pay attention, there's no lips. It's like, you don't see the lips. Where are the lips? Pacifying behaviors. The brain needs to pacify itself. Now, probably you hear, oh, is that person lying if somebody touches their nose like that, or their face, or their mouth, or bites something? Not necessarily. It can be just a pacifying behavior to pacify the stress, the anxiety. Among women, we hear behaviors like this, or they move their hair and they like kind of throw it in the back, because women, men, everyone, when people are in a stressful situation, they create more heat here in this area. So you want to ventilate it. These are kind of ventilating behaviors. It's hot. Yes, it becomes hot because the situation is anxious. There's stress for that person. Next one, biting nails. We see that even in adults, even among people who are old, we see that biting their nails, pacifying behaviors, putting things in their mouth, different things. The most common is the pen. The most common one is the pen. That's the most common one, or other things. Playing with the ear. All right. I'm anxious. Or probably I'm listening to something that makes me uncomfortable. Next one, massaging your hands. We do this a lot. We see this more common among men, like, okay, calm me down, calm me down. Next one, stroking your face, your facing, like this. We see this a lot. We call this body language or gestures of hands on face. I guess those behaviors demonstrate that you are nervous. Daisy, yes and no. Good comment. Good on you. I want to mention something very important. When talking about gestures and body language, consider two factors. One, environment. I live in Quito. The altitude is like 2,800 something, 850. And it gets to be cold at times. In cold environments, our body language tends to be negative hysterically. So that doesn't necessarily demonstrate nervousness or anxiety or deception, lying, because environment is like a bigger picture here, is like more powerful here. The environment can be cold, it can be hot, it can be stressful, it can be like facing a crowd. I have to talk to a crowd, like 20 people, 30, 40, 50, 60, the more anxious I am. So this can be tricky. So the answer is yes and no, both, depending on the environment. Moving on. So the next one, that is also a pacifying behavior. We tend to eat a lot, or drink a lot, or smoke a lot. All these nonverbal behaviors, these are not nonverbal behaviors. These are just eating or drinking or smoking. No. Everything in life is communication. We communicate with everything. Even drinking water is a form of communication. We communicate with our own body. Drinking a lot, eating a lot, drinking a lot, eating a lot, smoking a lot can be pacifying behavior. Kind of our body telling, hey, you need to take it easy, too much stress, too much anxiety, so go eat more, drink more, smoke more to pacify yourself. We know that the consequences are not the best. And at night, it probably happens to most of us. At night, we tend to grind our teeth, especially when the weather is cold. It's like we don't pay attention to it, but in the morning we wake up with a kind of, who has hit me in the face? Nobody. You've done it to yourself. Pacifying behavior. We see these behaviors a lot. We certainly need these more than we certainly need these more when we are under stress. So we tend to do one of these behaviors. In the meantime, if there's any comment, question, confusion, please feel free to unmute yourselves, raise your hand, leave it in the comment. I would love to see what you have to say about these behaviors. And how often do you touch your face to achieve calming state? I don't know. I touch my face all the time. I don't know. I do this. Okay, I do this a lot. Okay, if I have beard on my face, I tend to like kind of, do this, or maybe I do this when I'm bored. How often do you tend to touch your face? Daisy says, there's a comment I would like to read. Daisy says, to pacify myself, I do a lot of things very fast. Absolutely, Daisy. They happen super fast. I feel like a multitask woman. Absolutely. All these behaviors, non-verbal behaviors, happen so fast. Even the eye movement, they happen so fast that sometimes we are kind of unable to recognize and to thin slice them. Now, how often do you touch your face to achieve calming state? I would like to kindly ask you to write on if you tend to touch your face, if you feel like you tend to touch your face, on a piece of paper, write right now, take a piece of paper and write, don't touch your face, and show it to the camera so that we can connect with each other in a more deeper level. Show it to the camera. Just write on a piece of paper, don't touch your face, and then show it to the camera. Show this piece of paper to the camera. I'm gonna do it with you to be on the same page with you. So let's write on a piece of paper, don't touch lovely. Amazing. I like your handwriting. And then show it to the camera like this. Don't touch your face. Let's write it on a piece of paper. If you can turn on your camera and show it to the camera, that's going to be really great. Don't touch your face. And then stick this piece of paper on the wall in front of you and look at it often. And every time that your brain, you want to touch your face for any reason, look at this paper. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your face. But why? Good question. Because body language is like a two-way highway, meaning you are harming yourself by negative gestures, and you are transmuting this behavior to the audience. So it's like a lose-lose game when we use negative body language. It's like a win-win game when we use positive body language. So let's do it, everyone. If you have done it, if you did it, please, you could just show a thumbs up on the. Oh my God, that was that was strange. That was new. Show a reaction, or I loved it, or yes, or whatever reaction. Just show a reaction on this screen. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you. Hi, lovely to see you. Let's continue now. So touching our face is extremely negative. We want to find a way to reduce it. We don't want to say we want to remove it from our lives, because that's not possible. Not possible. We want to reduce it step by step. We want to reduce it. So today I touched my face 20 times. I touched my face and I paid attention to it. Good, write it down. Next day, write it on a piece of paper, put it on the wall. Don't touch your face. Look at it more. Reduce it and reduce it and reduce it. If you do that, these are the most amazing books that I would love to suggest to you. Unmasking the Face. Hi, thank you. Unmasking the Face by Paul Ekman. Get this book in English, in Spanish, any language that you feel comfortable. Get into this book, study this book. This is one of my favorite books. It kind of destroyed my life at first. That was very tough to understand and to apply. But later on, when I read it for the second time, I realized, oh my God, yeah, there is face. An average person has, an average adult, of course, after the age of 15, 16, has between 80 to 90 different masks on their face. Wow, really? Yes, we have different masks. The teacher mask, the dad mask, the son mask, the happy mask, the fake happy mask, the sad mask, the victim mask. Oh my God, I'm a victim. Everybody should help me. The what was the survivor mask, different masks. Please get into this book, read it. It's an amazing book. It's called Unmasking the Face by Paul Ekman. The other book that also kind of destroyed my life, I suggest you not to read it if you want to read it one time, is Dangerous Personalities. Joe Navarro, one of my mentors in body language and communication skills, talks about the dangerous personalities, how to identify and protect yourselves from getting harmed, from being harmed by harmful people. He explains the difference between psychopaths and sociopaths. There's difference between these two, and how to recognize, and if we have a little bit of them. Because at first, when you read that, it kind of like depresses you. It's like, oh my God, I have most of these features. What do I do now? No, relax. Everybody has a little bit of narcissism. The level is different. Everybody has a little bit of, everybody in the world, everybody has a little bit of degree of all of these issues, but some people can control them, some can't, and it harms them. This book teaches you how to recognize and take it under control. And the other book that's really amazing, Games People Play. I highly suggest this book to you. Games People Play, the Psychology of Human Relations. Eric Berne is one of the students of Freud, Freudian. We've heard of Freud, we know who Freud is and what he has done to the society, the psychosexual stages of growth, the oral personality, the other personalities, and how they affect us. In another webinar, we can talk about the psychosexual stages of growth, Claudia, probably in the future, the different personalities. So this book, Games People Play, teaches you what games we are being played by other people and how to avoid them, how to learn the games, the game of negotiation, words, mirroring, Pinocchio effect, etc. This is how you can contact me. This is my LinkedIn account on LinkedIn. This is my Instagram. I create content on a weekly basis, on a daily basis on Instagram. This live stream is also being recorded on my Instagram. Oh my God, really? Yes, it is being recorded on Instagram, so you can have it on Instagram. And this is the ID. That's my email, mansour9919@gmail.com. And that is my WhatsApp. I live, study, teach, enjoy the life in Ecuador, in Quito. I started living here in 2019, 20, 21. I will probably live here 2 or 3 more years until I find my next destination. And the last but not the least, my favorite book. This book teaches something about the mind that sadly we have never been taught to. It teaches you something about conscious, subconscious. Okay, I think somebody's microphone is. All right, this book, no worries. This book teaches something about your mind that we have never been taught to. I highly suggest this book. I have studied this book in 3 or 4 years in a group of people with a group of friends, masterminding with my friends. Thank you, everybody. If there is any question, I think there should be some questions, comments. Please raise this digital lovely hand. Go ahead, ask your question, comment, confusion, something that you really want to know about communication skills, about body language.
Yes, Thank you so much again, my dear friend, my dear Mansouri. It was a great presentation, of course. Please, if you have any question, let me, in this case, you can, your microphones are on, so you could ask, please, first.
All right. If there's any question, I would love to have these questions in the comment, or you can raise your hand, ask your questions. You can keep your questions, ask them later in the comment on Instagram, on Facebook of Miss Claudia Rivera later on, because I imagine she's going to share this recorded webinar on her Facebook. Am I right?
Yes, my friend, of course.
Amazing.
So thank you again, my dear. If
Yes.
someone have any question, maybe you could ask by chat. There is no problem,
Yes.
okay? Oh my God, Laxmi asked, is he single?
Yes, the answer is yes, yes. Yes.
Laxmi. Okay, Miss Tania Cajamarca
Thank
from Ecuador. She's a very great teacher.
Thank
She
you.
mentioned great presentation. Thanks, Tania, for being
Thanks.
here, my friend. Okay. Yes,
Thanks
Miss
for
Emma
joining.
mentioned, thanks for your explanation. Really,
Thanks
really
for
glad
joining.
about your explanation. Thank you so much, my dear Mansouri. We learned a lot about, and of course, we learn more about social intelligence, right? Because we didn't know a lot of things, so now we know more about that. Miss Julissa Passage mentioned, thank you so much for your great presentation. Christian, who is in Pucallpa, I think. Pucallpa,
Fucal.
Peru. Thanks, mention. Okay. Thank you
Lovely to
again,
have
my
you.
dear Mansouri.
Thank
Please,
you.
can you mention again where could we find you? Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is how you can find me. This is my Instagram account. I respond to the DM. This is my email, and this is my WhatsApp contact. You can contact me asking any questions, anything that was interesting for you, anything that was still a question, misunderstanding, confusion, still something in your mind that you really want to ask. I would be more than happy to respond, to have connection with you, to talk to you about these specific